Happy Sunday. Happy race day. Happy Memorial Day, y'all. Sorry. We've been on the road quite a bit. We went to visit some family up north. Nephew graduated high school, and I got to see my in-laws for the first time in some time now. Let's see. Oh, yeah, pretty much since we got married, other than an up and back trip for when my husband's grandma passed away. So just trying to recuperate some. So it's been a whirlwind of a week. Whew. But we are here for Memorial Day in remembrance of those who, gave their lives so that we have the ability to watch racing. We have the ability to have our freedom. We have the ability to do so much that so many others don't get to do. My nephew that just graduated is actually going into the military. He finished his basic training in between his junior and senior year, and will actually be coming to Virginia here in about 6 weeks to start his AIT training. So pretty excited, honored, blessed that he'll be in the area while he's doing training. Even though I know his parents are super sad that he will be away from the beautiful state of Michigan. But I'm glad that someone will be close by to keep an eye on him still. So, just take a minute this weekend and just truly remember what this weekend is all about, why we have this holiday that we have, and take a moment to reflect. I do encourage that wholeheartedly. He had a class, my nephew had a class of like 65 or 67, very small community in Michigan. And he was the only one going into the military, sadly. So it was kind of heartbreaking to see. Really was. But at the same time, just makes me respect him just a little bit more for what he's willing to do, and for his country and for those of us he loves. So super proud of you, Donovan, and for all of those others who have served. And congratulations to all the other 2024 graduates, whether it's high school, even their kindergarten, going from elementary to middle to high school, and college graduates. All of them are big steps for parents and young children or children becoming adults. So, and then adults having to go to adulting. So all are huge steps. So congratulations to all of the class of 2024. It's time for that crazy life, depending on where you are in that category of a 2024 graduate. So, but let's talk a little bit about racing now. Because, man, yes, I didn't do a show last week because we had the All-Star race. And I was packing to leave for Michigan to go celebrate my nephew. So, sorry. We had Darlington, so we'll talk a little bit about Darlington, just a little bit about the All-Star race, because we had 2 Fords win in a row now. A fight and some fines from said fight. And then we have the biggest or longest race, I should say, tonight, the Coca-Cola 600. And in between all of that, we have eyes on Kyle Larson, who is supposed to be doing double duty today, running the Indy 500 and then the Coke 600. The issue being weather right now. We were running away from Michigan really, really fast. We didn't necessarily have to, minus we're on dog duty right now. So if you hear my dogs barking, I'm sorry. But we saw weather coming in. They've had tornadoes really bad in Michigan and all of that area the last couple of weeks. Really bad. But weather was coming starting around Friday. And Indiana, Ohio, all of them were getting weather starting Friday, Saturday. So we got on the road pretty early on Friday trying to outrun the weather coming in. Thankfully, we did, but as of right now, Kyle Larson has not. But we'll get to that. So Darlington, we had some heated exchange in Darlington too. Some people were not very happy there because there's some contact made where they didn't feel like contact needed to be made, i.e. William Byron and Ryan Blaney. There were some issues there. They didn't like that too much. There's issues there that sent Ryan out for the rest of the day. Then we had Tyler Reddick there at the very end, and Chris Buescher. They didn't like it either. Both felt that Chris Buescher felt like he was used up and wasn't raced very cleanly at all when he could have won that race. But instead, you had the winner be his boss, Brad Keselowski. So stage 1, Kyle Larson won. Stage 2, we did have Tyler Reddick win. And then stage 3, we did have Brad Keselowski win. We did have multiple cautions. We had a spin for the number 42. There was incident in turn 2 that had the 12, the 17, and the 19 involved. There was another incident with the number 71 on the front stretch. There was number 21 involved. There was Kyle Larson spun. And then, of course, there at the end, there was another one. There was 16 lead changes and between 10 drivers. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Carson. Trying to make sure I got all of them. Yeah, that looks like it. And Christopher Buescher. All led laps at Darlington as well. Super crazy that we had 16 lead changes at the Lady in Black. 16. But it was the first win of 2024 for Ford. And the first win in forever for Brad Keselowski and as a team owner / driver for him. So, congrats to Brad. So it was Brad, Ty, Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, and Justin Haley, and then Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell, as we know, is going to Chevy next year. Crazy. But Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick had some words on pit road about the incident that took both of them out of contention. Tyler was like, I understand why he's mad. I'm okay if I take myself out, but it's not fair of me to take him out of contention for winning. So he owned what he needed to own, that it wasn't his intention to take both of them out, which is sad, but it did cause both of them to sustain flat tires in that final go, in that final stage, and some damage. Not anything that was not fixable, but those flat tires did send them basically to the rear of the group. And when that happens, it's very hard to overcome being able to do so. And that, that hurts. So I see why Chris is mad. And I applaud Tyler Reddick for, saying, hey, yeah, it was my fault. It was not my intention to do this. And it cost not just one of us the win, but both of us the win. So good for him on owning what he needs to own. And it's just sad. As of right now, or as of Darlington, Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch hold the 2 final playoff spots at the midpoint of the regular season. So I was like, oh, okay. Eek. Midpoint, y'all, already. Where'd the season go? Holy smokes. They also have announced that Australian supercar competitor Cam Waters is joining RFK for Sonoma. I was like, oh, okay. What? We have another supercar person coming over? Are they going to convert him? Wow. All right. Sounds good. Jimmy Johnson did announce that he's going to join NBC Sports Motorsports coverage for 4 races in 2024. And then Sam Mayer was penalized as well for an infraction at Darlington. We did have the All-Star weekend as well in between all of that. And with that, it was also the Indy 500 qualifying weekend at the same weekend. With that, NASCAR had a couple different things going on. Hendricks had tapped Kevin Harvick, which I found very interesting, to be their fill-in for I'm guessing maybe because of the height, maybe weight, I'm not sure, between the two, for Kyle Larson. And but he was not allowed to do but so much. Only allowed to do qualifying. He was not allowed to do any of the heat races or anything. That was it. He was only allowed to do certain activities for Kyle Larson. Once that was done, his job was done for it. I was like, okay. But at the same time, they already knew that Kyle Larson was going to have to go to the back because one person like qualified for him, and Kyle Larson, they would be switching to Kyle Larson once he got there. All of this was under the understanding, hopefully, that Kyle Larson would qualify, but not be maybe in like the top 6 of, the Indy 500 to start the race so that he could, get on a plane, get back to where he needs to get to, so Charlotte, and then get to North Wilkesboro. However, Kyle Larson Kyle Larson puts himself in the Fast 12 after he had one issue. They figured that issue out. He goes back out for qualifying, does his true qualifying run at the Indy 500 qualifying, puts himself in the Fast 12, and okay, so that sends him into the next round of qualifying for the 500. Great. Okay, that works. So that puts him into the qualifying the next day. So the top 12 at Indy then go head-to-head again to see who can be the top 6 drivers. The Fast 6 that will be then going for the pole. Okay, well then, Kyle, we really don't need you to be in the top 6 because then you have to stay another day to go, or not another day, but longer to do qualifying for the top 6 to go for the pole. So we really don't need that to happen either, because we need you to, already be on the plane to head to the All-Star race. So it's not technically days. It feels like days at this point, but it's not really days. It's like hours instead. Nope. What does Kyle Larson do again? He sends himself into the top 6. Say what? Fastest rookie time on record for the Indy 500 goes Kyle Larson. Puts himself in the Fast 6. So he has to wait. Because now Kyle Larson has a chance to go for the pole. NASCAR goes, okay, fine. We will push the All-Star race back just a little bit to give him a chance to run his qualifying laps needed at Indy for the pole and get here to run this. That was awfully sweet of you, NASCAR. That really was. So they did push the All-Star race back a little bit. Not long, just a little bit, like 15, 20 minutes. So that Kyle Larson could run his needed qualifying laps in the Fast 6 to see if he would be able to make it on the pole. He came up a little short, but he is starting in the top 6 for the Indy 500. An amazing feat on what felt like days, but really was only all done in like such a short amount of time. Holy crap. He gets there. Finally, he gets there. They start the race. He starts in the rear, y'all. I still, how does this work? First of all, how? or at least in my thought. Like, how do you go from qualifying for the Indy 500, sending yourself into the top 6, almost getting the pole because you soared yourself up there, and then flying, getting on a helicopter to get to North Wilkesboro, and getting in your car here at North Wilkesboro, starting at the rear, and still ended up in the top 5 at the All-Star race. What the hey? Completely lost here. Super lost. He drove the wheels off. That's all I got. Literally. Joey Logano, though, wins the All-Star race for 2 back-to-back Ford wins overall. We do get drama, though. By lap 2, there are some bumping and issues between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. does not like the way that he feels like he was raised by Kyle Busch, and aka feels like he was run over, run through, however you want to put it, and parked his car, Kyle Busch's pit stall, and then met Kyle Busch at his hauler once the race was over. And then there was a swing. Hit, fight that has been seen all over the place. You couldn't miss it. You really couldn't. It was everywhere. And NASCAR had already set a precedent last year when this happened, that if you get out of your car and you have time to cool down, that there will be a fine involved. If you are a parent on the crew, then, and you get involved in any way, that you will be suspended. Because this is the same thing that happened last year. This is how it works. Do I think $75,000 is a little kind of crazy? Yeah, because this isn't what happened last go round. But I guess maybe they felt that he had a little more substantial time to cool down. I don't know. They slapped Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a $75,000 fine for punching Kyle Busch after the All-Star race. They suspended 3 others, including Stenhouse Jr.'s father, who were involved in the altercation. Kyle Busch was not penalized. They suspended Keith Matthews, the engine tuner for Stenhouse teams, for 4 races, which is through June 16th, race at Iowa. NASCAR suspended Clint Myrick, a mechanic for Stenhouse teams, 8 races through July 14th at Pocono. And they've indefinitely suspended Richard Stenhouse, father of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., for his actions in the fight. When you have a crew member and family members that put their hands on our athletes, our drivers, we're going to react. Alton Sawyer, NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition, Wednesday morning on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. So Sawyer explained why, and the explanation basically is what I said. I will say when you wait, 198 laps, you waited too long. The other issue, the last year when we had this, they didn't wait as long to think about their actions. NASCAR said this, like the dude had a time to wait and think about the situation. Um, Last year, but it wasn't like 198 laps. This time, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had 198 laps to think about what he was gonna do. And he could have made a different decision, and he didn't. Yeah, I still think $75,000 is a little steep, probably, but you had 198 laps to think about it, knowing that what happened last time was there was a fine. I will say when you wait, 198 laps and you make those decisions that were made, you're going to react to that. There could have been a different decision made. We want the two drivers to be able to have their time to express their differences. But again, once it escalates to where there's been a physical altercation there, again, we're going to react. He explained why there was no penalty for Busch, whose retaliation on the track led to Stenhouse hitting the wall on the second lap of the event. If we see something, we have to prove over time that if we see a driver intentionally hooking someone in the right rear, we've reacted to that. We've really, as a sanctioning body, would and we do stay out of on-track incidents unless we see something that blatantly comes back to us that we need to react to. In this case, we reviewed it. We looked at it. We listened to audio. Again, hard racing, but also totally appreciate where the two drivers stand on it. We let those guys decide and agree to disagree. Dawson Backus, probably butchered that name, rear tire changer on Sammy Smith's truck at Norks Wilkesboro, was also suspended from NASCAR through this weekend's events for violation of the sanctioning body's protective clothing and equipment policy. And then there was a lug nut issue as well on one of the truck race vehicles. So, and then Rowan Mason has been indefinitely suspended for violating NASCAR substance abuse policy. There's a lot of, suspensions and or fines handed out to NASCAR people this week after the All-Star event. They're definitely very much on the you did this, you had time to think about it, you shouldn't have done this because you had time train, which is the same stance that they took the last time they handed out this type of penalty to a father-son duo. So I hope people take this into consideration the next time they decide to do this. I'm sure they won't. I get it. Do I think could be in the wrong for using it as some advertisement since the video has been used over and over and over again? Absolutely. That's where I feel like the fine is way too high. Like if you're going to continue to use this as some type of advertisement, then don't fine somebody $75,000. But they also did say that the All-Star race will be back at the North Wilkesboro next year. And we are back next year as well at Phoenix for the end of year championship. as well. So, um, super crazy. So, um, before the race, though, for today, NASCAR has issued Tyler Reddick's number 45, 23XI Racing, a penalty. NASCAR stated that competition officials discovered that the 45 team made an unapproved adjustment to the underwing of the Toyota after it had gone through technical inspection. So as a result, they have ejected the car chief, Michael Hobston, for the remainder of the weekend. They also lost pit stall selection. Tyler Reddick has to start in the rear and do a pass-through penalty at the start of the race. So big hit for Tyler Reddick and that team going into today's race. On happier news, before we talk about, the information for the Coca-Cola 600, Chase Briscoe and his wife Marissa are having twins. They're having a boy and a girl, they announced this week. And Bubba Wallace and his beautiful wife are expecting a baby boy. So they also announced this week. So congratulations all around to those happy families. Super exciting to see. I know Chase Briscoe and SHR are all, we're all waiting to see what's going to happen with that, because there's been no formal announcement on what's going to happen, as their deal with Ford is up, and we don't know if they're going to continue being a cup team or if they're going to put their charters up for sale, how that's going to play out. There was a slight bit of, or I took it as shade thrown by Kevin Harvick when he was asked about some of the differences that he saw working with Hendricks versus SHR. He's like, well, I've seen the team owner twice in the same week. So I thought that was pretty shade related, preparing for the All-Star, where I guess they don't see the owners maybe as much at SHR. So maybe that's why they're having a rough go at it. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see how all that plays out. So I feel bad for them, but I know it's all up in the, definitely got the rumor mill going, by far. Whole bunch of rumors. I just don't know which one's true yet. Once I find out, I'll let y'all know. So we do have the longest race of the season tonight. This is also Chase Elliott's 300th career Cup start this weekend. So that's super exciting for Chase as well. The command to start engines will be at 6:11. Green flag is scheduled to wave at 6:22. The garage is scheduled to open at 3. And driver's introductions is at 5:25. They are with everything that this race is about. Be prepared. It's emotional. It's lovely. They have Amazing Grace performed at 6:01. Taps starts at 6:02. National Anthem 6:03. It's just, if you're there, it's amazing. Extremely moving. So much to do. It gives me chill bumps. It's just amazing, truly. It is 400 laps or 600 miles on the 1.5 mile speedway. It is 4 stages, so 100 laps per stage. Fox will broadcast the race starting at 6. Pre-race coverage begins on FS1 at 4:30 and moves over to Fox at 5:30. If you need to listen to it, PRN has it, or Sirius XM NASCAR Radio on channel 90. It is partly cloudy skies, high of 87 degrees, and a 19% chance of rain. Let's go with hopefully no rain. Because, yeah, we're going to go with no rain, hopefully. Ryan Blaney, the last time we were there, led a race high of 163 laps to win last year's race. William Byron, who started on the pole, finished second. Martin Truex Jr. was third. So 6:22 again. That is when we are scheduled to wave that green flag. For today, we have Ty Gibbs on the pole, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain. Tyler Reddick will be falling to the back. Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson, and then Denny Hamlin will end up being your top 10. We have 16 Chevrolets, 9 Toyotas, and 15 Fords for today's race. So enjoy today's race. Happy Sunday. Happy race day. And I hope that you have an amazing holiday weekend. Bye, y'all.